Yo ho ho, I need some rum. This is 13 with Superior Mobile ByThirteen. Today I've got Kevin's 2012 Lexus RX350. It's a beautiful car. Unfortunately, a very outdated radio and not a simple radio to swap out. So when he originally came to me and we started talking about what I would do, he goes, but I bought this radio off Amazon. And I said, no. But of course, here we are with this Asure 9-inch Android car stereo, blah, blah, blah. It's Amazon crap, whatever. They're all the same. It's a tablet style radio that's designed to be plug and play and be an awesome, perfect replacement for all these OEM radios, and it gives you all these additional features and it retains stuff, blah, blah, blah. I've seen it a million times. They never pan out, and thankfully this time I actually prepped him properly and told him that we might not have all the features promised. This is the extent of the paperwork that came with it. There is an instruction manual, but I read that and it gave me a migraine after one page because it's all written via Google Translate. I don't want to insult the installation process because it's actually really enjoyable. I like just troubleshooting and solving problems, but unfortunately the results of this radio delivered exactly how I expected, where some things work great and other things just didn't. For starters, it's a huge big screen over there, and that is beautiful, and it comes up immediately, and so that aspect of it works great. All of this is retained and it looks exactly the same, and then it adds this really cool little mouse track system down here. Unfortunately, big complaint number one is that this does not work at all, although I love the fact that the power button rotates. So I don't know if this piece is broken because it's all wiggly wobbly, but none of these buttons do anything. This just doesn't work, and that makes me sad because I had high hopes for this piece working. However, if we go up here, it is a touchscreen radio, so I mean it still does operate just fine, but unfortunately you gotta like really reach forward in order to reach it. And so the steering wheel controls, believe it or not, do actually work. You set the programming for the vehicle and it works. Now when I say that it works, the volume up and down works. The mode button does actually do stuff. It changes the mode. Look, we're on phone, and then we go to whatever that mode is, and then it goes to whatever this mode is, and then whatever that mode is. Like, it does stuff. But here's what's kind of funny is the down is actually up and the up is actually down, and I don't know how to change that on this radio. So if I hit down right now, it'll go channels up. And if I hit the up button, then it'll go right back down. So that's nice and interesting. The other super interesting thing is that if I turn up the volume here, that's the volume via the steering wheel control button, and I can also use the volume right here. So it's dual volume control. That's not a feature, that's a bug. But I mean, I guess you have options, so that's kind of cool. For the record, this tune button also works. These buttons still do stuff too, so this isn't removed from the system, it's supplemental on top of the system. But let me tell you about the number one bad thing about this, and it's actually really disappointing. So this is the original screen that came out, and I don't know if you can tell, but it says passenger right there, and then there's a little screen underneath it. This is somehow communicating with the SRS system so that through this one uniform plug on the back, you know that somehow if that plug is unplugged, you're gonna get an airbag light. And sure enough, this radio had a receptacle that plug went into. So I did all that I was supposed to do, but unfortunately we have an airbag light now. And I pulled everything out and I double checked all my connections and I checked all the plugs and I made sure that nothing silly was done, but there is no troubleshooting instructions, and ultimately there are no instructions to begin with, so there is no reasonable explanation as to why this doesn't work and why we're getting an airbag light. My only solution for the airbag light is to basically stash that screen somewhere in the dash, and I talked to the client, and basically he's just gonna let it ride as is. Crazy enough, when you come to this main screen, it's got a speedometer built in it, and sure enough, that actually works. Obviously, it's an Android operating system, so it's just unlocked, which means that you can be running YouTube or install your own apps, and you've got all the Google Chrome and pictures. It's a tablet dash. They're always extremely tempting and promising, but unfortunately when you've got issues like, oh, an airbag light, that's a real big negative for something like this. Like I said, I think it's something I could get around, but I'm not sure why this doesn't work down here. I don't know if it's just effective or whatever, but that is another thing that's just so common whenever these people tell me that they want me to install Android radios, and I just say no. I can't guarantee the results. I'm willing to try, but understand that you are on the hook for the installation labor regardless of the results. Most professional car audio shops won't even touch these things specifically because of that reason. Other little subtle nuances is this silly microphone that looks like a boom mic that's really big, but it's mounted up there. It had like this really god-awful clip system that didn't work, so I had to just epoxy it up against the headliner. That was how I made it as flush as possible. And then down there, we've got our big old clunky brick of a GPS antenna. It also has an OBD2 port plug down here, which originally I thought was to get data off of the CAN system that would be used for steering wheel controls, to get the speedometer working, that sort of thing. But we had to unplug it when we plugged in the scan tool, and that was when I found out we didn't lose any features. So I don't actually even know what that OBD plug is for, so I'm gonna leave it unplugged now because it's clearly not necessary. And that's all I gotta say about this radio install. This is 13 with Superior Mobile by 13. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.